What's going on, everyone? I'm gonna give you a video here real quick about like stopping and starting, and why people are waiting for the perfect time. Really just why people are waiting for the perfect time. So stop doing that just to get started right away, right? Your old self, the old person in you always wants to say, and this is what I hear the biggest thing. People just wait for the perfect time. They're like, I want to wait for the perfect time. Well, you got to get that out of your head because there really is never going to be a perfect time, right? Like a lot of times now I'm hearing, waiting until I'm going back to the gyms open up. Just don't, because we don't know. It might open up for 2 weeks and shut down again. So, usually people have said 5 things. These are the most common things I've heard. Like, I've tried everything and it won't work. It won't work for me. And they have negative thoughts. So you got to get rid of the negative thoughts. You got to stop beating yourself up. You got to stop being a perfectionist. But we're in this spot of it won't work, it won't work, it won't work, and we're not giving ourselves a chance. We're having all these negative thoughts. So you got to switch those around, right? So your current self, you have to give like 5 main things that will help you. You have to start having goals that are achievable for one, right? So have a goal, make it achievable, do short-term and long-term goals. That'll be really easy to put you in the right mind frame for this, because if you're always beating yourself up, if you're always comparing yourself to others, if you're trying to be a perfectionist and the goals aren't for you, they're for somebody else, and maybe you're comparing yourself to a 20-year-old and you're a 50-year-old with kids. It just doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't add up. So number 1, have goals. Number 2, cut out things that don't serve you. This is the biggest one for me here, because there's a lot of things we do, and sometimes if you don't track the things you do, like you could lose time, especially during this pandemic. You could lose time on Facebook, you could lose time on Instagram, you could lose time doing whatever it is, Netflix, but we kind of let the time go away from us. So cut out the things that don't serve you. Always follow through. So which kind of brings me 4 and 5 are, I guess, the same. Prioritize your time, schedule your time would be like tip number 3. So and then 4 is following through. So once you make the plan, you say, hey, from these 6 hours I'm working, these 3 hours I have the kids, the 8 hours I'm sleeping. Well, in here, this is when my workout is. This is when I'm going grocery shopping. This is when I'm eating. So plan that out, prioritize it, because when you say you don't have time, that just means it's not a priority. Like I'll never say, hey, I don't have time for my kids, because they're a huge priority. I won't say I won't have time for workouts, because that's a priority. So I will knock back something else in my life to make those a priority. So you have to prioritize the time. You do have time. We all have the same amount of time. It's just what's a priority for you. Number 5, last one is take action. So you got to take action. If you're not doing these things, if you're not implementing, it's definitely not going to work. So when you get to your future self, like there's 5 things that, those are the 5 things I would do, and I'll kind of give you tips to, why this didn't work, why the old self didn't work, and why people, when they stop and start. So 5 things in that, and I'll give you kind of 5 quick steps to fix this. So 1 would be like, think about where you, I hope my phone doesn't on. Think about where you want to be versus where you don't want to be. So I know it's really common nowadays, like I say, have goals, you want to be positive, so that's really good. And it's really common, like in parents we see this, like it's more of the reward system than the punish system. And I would agree with that for the most part, but if you think of where you want to be versus where you don't want to be, we are more motivated. So 80% of people are more motivated by fear than success. So if I said, if you get this goal, I'll buy you a car. You're like, okay, I'm motivated. But you're not as motivated as if I gave you the car, and if you don't hit the goal in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever the plan was, I take that away. So same with kids. Like, I'm sure any parent can agree to this. Like if you say, hey, Hunter, if you're a good boy today, I'll take you to McDonald's. Well, or I'll buy you a toy. I'll buy you a Buzz Lightyear toy. But if I gave him the Buzz Lightyear toy and he was bad and I took it away, much more powerful. Same thing works for us. So fear plays a huge role. That's number 2. Number 3 is you'll have less time tomorrow, right? So we always say we're waiting for the perfect time, but things only get busier, right? We have kids, we have family time, we have jobs, we might go back to work, the gyms might open up, etc. The restaurants will open up. We're always going to have less and less time. We're never going to have more time. I've noticed that. I always thought, I'd wait till this time, but we're never going to have more time. It never gets any easier, and we always have 24 hours in the day, 7 days a week, which is 168 hours. So that stuff never changes. Number 4 is 98% of people wish and hope. So 98% of people wish and hope. Only 2% of people actually take action and don't let anything stop them. So you got to decide which one you're in, because 98% of people are in that, okay, I'm going to hope and wish this happens, and the 2% stops. And then the other thing for this, the other stat, that you have to make this a lifestyle, and you have to take action and implement this and fit this around, prioritize it, because it's 97%. This is a crazy stat. So 97% of people who lose weight in 6 months or less, right? So if you're losing weight in 6 months or less, put it back on within 2 years, if not more, which is crazy. That's again, it's like those stats, 98, 97% of people. So because we're waiting to the perfect time, and the perfect time comes, and then after that, we're like, okay, cool, I got it. I'm here, I'm good. But instead of, you have to make it more of a lifestyle, more fit in. So action steps for you, got 5 action steps. One would be work backwards. So if you have, think about, what do I do today to get there tomorrow, right? So what do you have to think small, like by minutes, by hours, by days, but what do you have to do today? What do you have to do? So I always talk about living in the moment, so a career is just a series of good years, great months, great weeks, great days, great seconds, right? So when you think about, if I had, if you have the plan for tomorrow, you follow it today, then you go on tomorrow, the next day, the next day. So instead of, like, a lot of people I'll talk to, like, I want to lose 50 pounds. And it sounds like such a big number. But if you said, hey, I have 50 pounds to lose in a year, that's 4.15 pounds. Yeah, it's like a little over 4. I think it's 4.15 per month, 1 pound per week, 0.15 pounds per day, right? So 0.15 pounds per day. So just think of 1 pound per day or 1 pound per week is a lot easier. Or 0.15 pounds per day is a lot easier than thinking 50 pounds total. So work your ways backwards and work up. So if you think of 50 pounds, okay, I'm gonna work back from a year. It's gonna take me, every week I just need to lose a pound. So if I have a week where I don't, that's okay, because I might lose 2 or 3 later in certain weeks. So think of it that way. You also hold on to, or you also keep the weight off much better that way, instead of binging super fast and then putting it back on and being part of that, like 97, 98% of people. But that's what I got today. So whenever you start thinking about the perfect time to lose weight, the perfect time to get back in the shape, like, a lot of people are going to say, hey, the gyms are opening up in 2 weeks, but odds are, if you're watching like any of the sports, what's going on is it's going to open up and then close. So just start now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Stop using the excuse of you don't have time, because everyone has the same time. You just don't prioritize the time to do it. So prioritize it. You have to eat. I love hearing I don't have time to do this. Maybe you don't have time to fit in an hour, 2 hour workouts. That could be possible, but everyone eats. So we all have time to eat. So when you say I don't have time to eat, it doesn't make sense, because we eat every day. So if eating's a priority, losing weight, being fit, being healthy is a priority. We just need to make those changes. So that's all I got for you. I'll see you guys probably Friday or Saturday this week. Have a good week.